here is the anchor point, a line, and then an accent where the anchor point is, and a line. No, you have to give me some space. And because I'm forcing you to deal with space before each anchor point, you also have to deal with the issue of space and silence. The idea is not to shred and just play and play and play and play. Wayne Shorter, he'll play a few notes, Miles, a few notes, tons of space. Liebman, tons of space. But we're in an environment where we feel like we have to fill up all the space all the time. And because I'm asking you to give me space before the anchor points, you have to think 2 to 3 bars ahead. There's no other way. Now, point of departure means you start. Great. We have an advantage. We have a really strong advantage over you in terms of rhythm. So the idea is, how do we communicate these ideas so that you understand what it's like to use more than just 2 limbs? Now that you have to tap and use your voice, you're like me, you have 4 limbs now. Your phrase.
Where you start.
Right.
Stop where you start, space, start again, then what?
Exactly. In the second chorus, we move on. You would probably start your line anywhere from here, keep the line going, and stop. I'm forcing you to think ahead. I'll give it to you on the snare drum. Right? So the first time through, hit it just as a way of saying, I'm cool. And if you feel like doing it every chorus to hit each one, that's okay. But after that, you've got to stop your phrase on each one of those anchor points.
Okay, so the focus is where you're stopping, not as soon as you start. Okay, dig it.
And it's much harder.
Okay.
All right?
Let's do it. F. F.
All right, once you count it off,
1,
play the head once.
2, 1, 2.
You're gonna know when you make your first mistake.
Sure, yeah.
And if you record it, you do 10 choruses, you go back, and you see where that mistake, why it's occurring. Oh, is it because the note is slightly off? Is it a contrasting note? Is it because the note is on with a melody? That makes me feel uncomfortable. But it's a process that's fundamental.
Sure.
Because the idea is never to work on rhythmic ideas out of context or form.
All right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Music is like prose, it's narrative. You're telling a story. Why would you want to tell a story and then repeat certain sentences 10 times over again? So it's a very good exercise to remind yourself of where was I, where am I, and where am I going? I study a lot of things like Gahu drumming from Central Africa, Iwe war drumming from the west coast of Africa. It's our tradition, otherwise it wouldn't be African American music. And the jazz phrasing for the ride cymbal is written like this, and you hear this on African recordings, particularly, tribal recordings. You hear this rhythm over and over again. Bam, splang, ga dang, splang, ga dang, splang, ga dang, splang, ga dang. You can do it at any point while you're playing. Many rhythmic ideas, we tend to start on the downbeat of many rhythmic ideas. But over time, we have to realize that maybe we're playing, and if I'm playing with Mark, and all of a sudden, maybe in 17th bar of the form, he starts going to a rhythmic idea like this, and I want to join him in it. I have to know exactly in that 17th bar on what eighth note he started, and whether I want to go with him, go against him, contrast, because I'll explain in a minute how you can phrase these in such a way as that you have the original 4/4, then you have your dotted quarter note. The principle of the long and short beat exists here too. All music has long and short beat in terms of a common theory. If you listen to Messiaen, it's nothing but 2s and 3s. If you listen to Indian music, it's 2s and 3s. African music is 2s and 3s. So I figured I'm going to use that same concept, 2s and 3s, and the half note will be 1 2 1 2.
More!
I walk into the hotel and I realize to the right in the breakfast room, which is a big ballroom, there is a recreation of Saturday Night Fever with a disco ball and everyone in polyester dancing 70s disco. Now my brain is starting to get a little confused.